Do you ever feel like when you're submitting waivers into Drone Zone that it's a complete mystery on whether or not they're going to be approved? Well, this week on Waiver Watch episode 12, we'll go over a few mysteries and make some predictions. Welcome to Waiver Watch episode 12 on February 2nd, 2020. We are 107 Waivers, and each week we review some of the most interesting waivers approved by the FAA and give you a spiel on those. So, Jakey, let's kick it off. We were gone for the last week, reviewing our favorite 2019 waivers. Now we're back to our original programming. So kick us off with some waiver totals that we normally go through.
Yeah, so FA was busy doing night waivers the last 2 weeks, which is good. We had 20 waivers approved 2 weeks ago, for 107.29. We had 30 waivers approved last week. All but one of them were for 107.29 as well. So that's 49 night waivers in 2 weeks. Not bad. So the mystery waiver this week, it is a 107.31 and 107.33 Bravo.
So let's grab Bucky here and shake it up and say, Bucky, what's going on with this Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma waiver, and why the heck is it missing? This is such a mystery.
I know. So doing our usual research, clicking through waivers, and it pops up page not found. Like, what the heck? So there's no waiver for this one. It's just gone. All we know is it's Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. Robert Huck is the responsible person. So we have to be a little bit of a detective this week.
And we've seen this page not found or file not found before, and shortly after it was actually because there was an error in the waiver that was submitted to the table. They revised it and then submitted a revision, and then it showed up again. So that's probably what's happening here. There was an error. They took it down. They're revising it. It was Friday. Maybe they'll get it up Monday, Tuesday. Probably actually Wednesday though, right?
Right.
Because the current trends, right?
And like we said, the table can be wrong. I mean, it happens. We even had one not show up, and we emailed UAS Help, and within a day they had it up. So things happen.
So, and kudos to USA Help for getting back quickly in responses. So that's not a black hole that some people may think it is. People are monitoring that email. So use it as appropriate. Don't spam it, but ask real questions and you get real answers.
Let's do a little predictions on what this waiver is. Okay, so we're gonna take some guesses. We're gonna follow up later. Hopefully the waiver gets put on the table, and then we're gonna find out if we're right or wrong here.
So some of our investigations lead us to the Choctaw Nation UAS IPP page, right? There's a paragraph I have highlighted right now about what they were maybe doing last year, Brent. Right? Visual line of sight. What type of inspections? Okay, so recent testing and demonstration with beyond visual line of sight operations focused on safe automated flights using visual observers and data capture. So basically, there's a picture of a Vapor 55 with the cowling off, and so they are doing some power line inspections with visual observers. However, this waiver that is nowhere to be found on the waivers granted page tells us something else is up. Jakey, what's up with that?
Right. So there's a
what are the guesses,
that,
right?
they had another series of BVLS flights planned for late 2019 or early 2020. So that's we think this is the waiver that's going to support that. So our predictions, at least, are that it is probably a daisy chain visual observer waiver. I suppose there's a chance, though, that this could be a technology-based one. They do actually state that in the article that they want to be using no visual observers at all. So it's possible, but daisy chain's usually more realistic. It's definitely going to be for Vapor 55. It's definitely going to be to inspect transmission lines in southeastern Oklahoma or something like that. There's a public service company of Oklahoma they're partnered with. And I have a guess even for the number of provisions. I'm just going to throw out a number, 35. Brent, what do you think?
Okay. So I like to, I'll side with you on that, and that's why I'll tell you why. So if I dig into a few other 10731s and 10733s, so this one I'm looking at is Honeywell Aerospace. I scroll all the way to the bottom. I see 37 provisions in there. Okay. And then I go and I click on one that's by Precision Hawk. And this one only has 21. So, okay, Precision Hawk is much different than what these other two waivers will be. So it's certainly going to be more than 21. And like you said, 35 I think is a really good number. We're at 37, like we were kind of talking a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
35 to 40 provisions, right? And you said sometimes there's provisions with in this area and it has like a latitude and longitude location, you can fly under these conditions, right? Because as your operations get more advanced, you need to kind of restrict in your scope so that the FAA can actually approve the waiver safety case, essentially. Like you're proving out like, hey, we're only operating here. We're not asking for the whole U.S. It's just a little bit easier to manage and also able to identify risk because you can look at a specific area. So I'm with you. Somewhere between 35 and 40,
sounds
like we're talking.
A football score too, right?
35 seems
Super
like a
Bowl
good number.
today. Yeah.
Ooh.
Who's gonna win?
Bucky, what do you think?
That's a tough one. It's a
undecided.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Maybe go with the underdog.
Not the Green Bay Packers, that's for sure.
But yeah.
There you go.
Another quick note on this one. So we noticed that it's only a waiver to 107.31 and 33 Bravo. But if you look at nearly all the I'll say like BVLAS waivers in the last year, they're almost always to 107.33 Bravo and Charlie 2. So probably just a mistake, maybe.
So maybe that's just simple. And maybe this is actually the reason why it's just pulled off the table is because they forgot to add provisions for C.
So we'll see. So we'll see how close we are. Hopefully next week, maybe 2 weeks. We'll see when they get it up.
Yeah. And if there wasn't enough mystery in today's episode, under review, right? When you submit, we have 2 waivers under review by the FAA in our queue. And this is you get this email and it's like, yes. If it lasts more than 1 day, you probably aren't getting denied. That's just my gut feeling. Because they're spending some more time digging into this, right? When did we get these under review emails?
You don't actually get an email if it changes to under review. You get it when it changes to like denied, approved, or whatever. So it's almost like you have to keep an eye on it, which of course we do. It's like daily. We're looking at it, at our stuff. But so we noticed it. Right. I think one of them was Wednesday and the other one was Friday of this week. So a couple days ago.
Yeah. Oh. The reason why I'm thinking an email is because I actually got an RFI for the one that we submitted in my personal account. That's why. Right. So I had an RFI, I responded, and now we're sitting waiting. Yep. Right? It's been under review for another 5 days.
Yeah, the under review, the suspense.
But the mystery, right? But under review is always a good sign, right? It's like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We know that the FAA is physically looking at the documents now, reviewing your safety case. Do you have all your materials?
So let's talk about our theory on the batch process, right? So for 107.29s, those are so well understood right now that we see those go to contractors a lot. So the FAA just has a lot of contractors on staff that are just kind of working through these. Do you have training? Do you have lights? It's pretty just checklist. They have it or not. Okay, approve. So those just get batch processed. Everything else, it seems like the FAA has a little more dedicated groups to those specific regulations. So, for example, the BVLAS stuff kind of goes to their advanced waiver team. Usually a little more safety risk management that has to go into those. Maybe some executives have to buy off on risk and so on. We're thinking that the 107.51 Bravos, that's the high altitude, that goes to a group that involves air traffic organization. So those kind of get pulled off, maybe 5 to 10 of them every month get pulled off the stack. The group reviews them, approve, deny, whatever, and move on. So it's really just kind of this, per regulation, they have these specialized groups that just, every month pull a 5 to 10 off the stack, review them, do their work, approve them, and then, go do the rest of their work for the rest of the month. But under review is a good thing. Back to the original point. It means you're going to get a response. Like within a week, you should get either approved, requests for information, or denied. So at least you're going to get some response. So.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for listening for this week's Waiver Watch. We'll update you as soon as we know more about the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma and what their progress is on the waiver table. In the meantime, you guys can also check. Just go to 107 Waivers Granted page. You can Google it. Just keep an eye out for that 107.31 and 33 to see where that ends up. But we'll update you in the future. And as always,
fly safe.
Take care.